Hi everybody, welcome to another Take and Make Craft with Miss Meg. This week we're going to make watercolor snowflakes. All you need is the craft kit from the library, watercolor markers, so any size watercolor markers, a little bit of water, a spoon or an eyedropper or a paintbrush, a bunch of paper towels, and a nice place that you can work where you don't have to worry about getting things wet or messy. And eventually you will need some scissors. So let's get started. Okay, so to start, you're gonna take your coffee filter and you're gonna try to flatten it as much as possible. I am using a cookie tray, but I put paper towel underneath my coffee filter so that the marker will not bleed onto the cookie tray because it will bleed through. So the first step is to just decorate the coffee filter however you want. You can decorate it as much as you want, as little as you want. The more color you put on, the more the water is going to make the color bleed and run, and that's going to make for kind of a cooler pattern when you make your snowflake. So you can do whatever you want. You don't need to be super precise. But the more color, the better, I say. And see how it's bleeding onto the paper towel? So you kind of do want that extra layer just in case. Again, you can color these as much or as little as you want. So there is my decorated snowflake. So now we are going to add water to this. So this is where I recommend a lot more paper towel, because you need a lot of water to make the color run well. But your coffee filter is going to get water everywhere. So I'm going to just add enough paper towel that we won't make a big mess. So let's see how this works out. Let's do it like that. And then you're going to put your coffee filter back down. Okay. Now I have a spoon, just a regular spoon I'm going to use. And I have just a small cup of water. You don't need a lot of water. So I like to start in the center and pour water out because it bleeds the colors towards the edges. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. I just think it looks more interesting. So I take a little bit of water on my spoon. Oh, and it's already dripping down. You see how the color is spreading. So I'm just going to drop some down and see how the color spreads. That's kind of what you want. You can tilt the coffee filter to get the water to spread the way you'd like it to. And see the bottom of it? So I'm going to have it run out towards the edges. It will try to pool in the center. That's okay. You can just sort of shift it around. The spread there. All right, so it is all wet. My coffee filter is soaking wet. I don't know if you can tell. It's very wet. But we are going to let it dry now. I would say give it a minimum of 20 minutes to dry. You want to put it on a fresh set of paper towels to let it dry. And then when it is all dry, you'll be able to tell. It'll feel like it did before you got it wet. And then we'll come back and fold it and cut. Okay, so it is dry. You can sort of hear how it's dry. See, I got some color off even, so that's why I left it on that paper towel. You don't need that anymore. So what you're gonna do now is you're gonna fold this so that you can make your cuts to make your snowflake. So the first thing you wanna do is fold it in half and try to get it as even as possible and then crease that. So now it's this half circle. Okay. Then you're going to take this and you're going to fold it in half again. So same thing, try to keep it as flat or as even as you can. Give your edges a good crease. And then we're going to fold it another time in half. If you would like to get really detailed snowflakes, you can fold it one more time, but try to keep these edges together. Can you see where these are all? You want to keep those as together as possible. But you don't have to do that. I'm not going to do it. Now, you don't necessarily want to cut on these edges to start. You really want to cut down here. And another kind of rule of thumb is you don't want to cut too close up here, because then you're not going to have a complete circle, and you kind of don't want to cut, you can cut the tip off, but you don't want to do much more of that. So otherwise, you just cut however you'd like. I am going to cut a little of the tip off just to see how that looks. And then I'm going to cut on the fold side. So not on this side quite yet, but on this side. I'm just going to do a little bit of a wave to start. Now you can cut whatever shapes you want. You can cut circles or squares, however you would like. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to cut some triangles. Pop that out like that. And then I'm going to do another one. Again, does not have to be perfect. Now, you can cut on this side too, but you want to make sure that you cut through all the layers, okay? And again, don't go too far down or too close to the top. So I cut a little bit out there. But I don't want to cut this or this because these are important folds and it may cut your snowflake apart. So you don't want to do that. Okay, so I have cut a lot of my snowflake here. So now I'm going to open it up and we will see the finished piece. Ta-da! So this is now a snowflake you can stick to your window. If it's cold, the condensation will kind of keep it onto your window, or you can use a tiny little bit of clear tape. Don't use a lot or you might get in trouble, so don't do that tons, or you can put them on the fridge, hang them up in your room for snow all over your house. But that is how you make a beautiful watercolor snowflake. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.